We want to welcome you guys to our Community Healthcare System podcast. We're talking today about the state of Black health. And I am so excited and I'm so honored and privileged to introduce you guys to the minister, Pastor Creflo Dollar. Thank you so much for coming in here.
I am excited about what we're going to be talking about today, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes.
You know, first of all, let me say we've got to take responsibility.
Yes, sir.
For our health.
Absolutely.
That should not be primarily and 100% on the doctor. You, as an individual,
Amen.
You've got to accept responsibility for your health.
Absolutely.
And then secondly, we've got to look at our style of eating. Soul food with a lot of lard.
Yes.
And sugar.
Yes.
And salt.
Yes.
And there is a bit of truth to you are what you eat.
That's true.
And so one of the things that I had to learn, I came from a family that loved cooking. I mean, if you didn't have fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, candy yams with a lot of sugar on it.
Yes.
And I didn't even know the biscuits were made with lard, lard in the biscuits. Yes. And we had chitlins.
Yes, sir.
And all that, and white rice to go with it.
Yep.
That was a regular Sunday meal.
Absolutely.
In the Black family. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to look at what we're putting in.
Yes.
To determine the high blood pressure.
Yes, sir.
To determine, the stroke.
Yes.
And all of the heart attacks and the things. My father died of a heart attack, but I know and was realizing what he put on the inside of him eventually judged him.
Absolutely.
And so it's we're going to talk about some things today, and I'm going to share some of the things that I had to do. I had a series of issues with my prostate. And that's something that Black men go through because they don't want to go and visit a doctor once a year. Yep. I mean, you don't have to die of prostate cancer. It's the most curable cancer that exists.
Wow.
And you don't have to die of it.
Wow.
But if you neglect your doctor's visits and you're not accepting responsibility for your health and you don't know how to eat, you don't know how to supplement. Now, I'm not one of these guys that, I used to be, that take 100 supplement pills a day. Yeah. I believe in getting most of it now from my food.
Yes.
And supplementing when the food is not quite giving me what I need. But I had situations where I had prostate cancer twice.
Twice?
I had prostate cancer twice.
Wow.
The first time I had it, I went to my regular physician, and he freaked me out. I just got to be honest with you. He told me you need to just get it out. He described the surgery. It was so barbaric.
That's the first thing he told you to do was have surgery?
Oh, yeah. You just snatch it out when we're going to, and the way he described it, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, so first of all, let's just slow your roll a little bit. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah. I said, I want another opinion. He says, well, you can go and get another opinion if you want to, but I'm right, and you need to just go ahead and get it removed. And he gave me this mindset that this thing is growing at an aggressive rate. Now, I did have an aggressive form of prostate cancer, but I wanted to do my own research. I wanted to talk and see what else was available.
Absolutely.
And that's what another thing, a lot of people hear what the doctor says, and it's law.
It's law, absolutely.
Doctor said this, you do it this way. Doctor says take this. Because there's several times I had operations. I didn't take what the doctor, as far as pain.
Yes.
I want to feel my pain.
Yeah,
I want to know what was going on.
100%.
Yeah, to do that. So I discovered that there were other alternatives that were available for treating prostate cancer.
Absolutely.
One of them I discovered, it was a procedure called HIFU, high ultrasound, focal high intensity focal ultrasound. And that's exactly what they did. They treated me. I didn't have to have it taken out. It annihilated the area where the biopsy said the cancer was.
Was this this is a second opinion, though?
This was the third opinion.
It was a third opinion,
yeah, because I knew that there was something better than radiation, chemo, and jerking it out.
So the first one was cut it out.
Cut it out.
What was the second one?
radiation.
Radiation.
And the third one was chemo. It's fact.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really got a hold of is I am responsible for my health.
Yes.
Not the doctor. And that's
100%.
That's a key thing.
You are responsible for your health.
You're responsible for your health.
Absolutely.
You're responsible for researching. You're responsible for, we got the World Wide Web.
Absolutely.
You're responsible for going on that
Absolutely.
and find out what exists.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
forth. So,
Yes.
so I flew to Canada to get that
Wow.
high food treatment.
Okay.
It worked. Everything returned normal. It was great.
Did they not have it in the States?
At the time, they didn't. They
Okay.
do now.
Okay.
The FDA has given approval,
Okay.
and they are now doing procedures
Wow.
in the country. But at that time, they were not doing it.
What are some of the complications if you would have done what the first doctor told you to do?
Okay, that's a great question. I would have probably had to wear diapers
Wow.
for the rest of my life, and that's a nightmare.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
To think that
Yes.
you don't feel like a man.
Yep.
You don't feel normal.
Yeah.
You may never be able to have intercourse with
Absolutely.
your wife again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just not trying to do any of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there's a chance that those things won't. I'm like, why go through?
They scare you. It's fear arousal.
Well, it's fear based.
Yep.
And anytime you get a diagnosis
Yes.
that's fear based,
Absolutely.
Don't go for it. It's
Absolutely.
fear based. It's based
Yes.
in fear. And
they make more money when they do a surgical procedure on you. That's
yeah.
just a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And so after that was over, that lasted I got 10 years out of it.
Okay.
And then every 10 years, it seems like processes and procedures get
Okay.
better and better and better.
Yes.
So that's why you have to be responsible
Yes.
enough to go and investigate
Yes.
and do your discovery and do
Yes.
your research.
Yes.
Because there are lots of new things that are coming out. And in the age of AI, it's going to accelerate even
Oh,
more.
absolutely.
And,
Yes.
So I'm very serious about my movement.
Yes.
Exercise, because
Absolutely.
if you want to keep moving, you got to keep moving.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want things to settle.
Right, right. And a lot of people don't know that you need to move.
Absolutely.
That's a blessing. And the way I eat.
Yeah.
Now, I switched to a plant-based, a whole food plant-based diet. Not a vegetarian necessarily.
Okay.
But a whole food plant-based diet.
You guys hear that? A whole food.
Yeah.
Plant-based diet. Now
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get into that because
Yeah.
most people think rabbit food. That's what we hear.
No.
That's what our seniors, because we feed our seniors, and they think this is rabbit food. What does that mean?
If you look at my food, you think, ooh, that look good. I mean, what I do is I think about what I like when I was
Okay.
eating beef and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then I have somebody to create
Okay.
something similar to
Okay.
that. And I can enjoy a hamburger made out of chickpeas. I can enjoy a taco made out of walnut meat. And the great seasons and stuff.
Wow.
So it
It's all
doesn't
about
have
the
to be-
seasoning.
yeah, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
boring. It doesn't have to be eating like a rabbit.
Yep.
Again, you research.
Yes.
You do your work.
Yes.
You discover what needs to happen.
Yes.
I believe that you should enjoy your food.
Yes.
I think that food was, given to us to enjoy.
Absolutely.
But you don't have to be a person that your diet is just reckless.
Absolutely.
I drink water,
Okay.
just water,
Oh wow.
only water.
Y'all hear that? No juice.
Yeah, I'm
no
not into-
alcohol.
Yeah, because juice, they're full of sugar.
Absolutely.
And the most
Yes.
toxic thing you can put in your body is sugar.
Yeah. Wow.
It's very toxic. It
It's
causes
sugar.
inflammation.
Yes.
And the more...
And it's a drug, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you ever try to get off sugar, you'll find out it's a drug.
Absolutely.
But the more you put sugar on the inside of your body, it will cause inflammation, and inflammation is the foundation for every chronic disease that you can get: cancer, stroke. Sugar is the cause of that. That's in your orange juice, your apple juice, your sodas, all of that kind of stuff.
Wow,
and
wow.
people, we make jokes about it. Well, I'm gonna have my Coke.
Yeah.
You know, have go Creflo trying to tell somebody how to eat. I'm not trying to tell you how to eat. I'm just saying, if you want to live a good, healthy, long life,
Yes.
okay, you're gonna have to deal with your diet. And then here's something that we really don't think about in the Black community:
What's that?
stress.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, how stress can be highly inflammatory,
Absolutely.
but stress turns into something physical.
Absolutely.
And it begins to attack your body.
Absolutely.
And the trauma that our people have experienced.
Yes.
And to go in and to know you qualify for something.
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily get the opportunity to do
Yes.
those things. Well,
Yeah.
you need to work hard just like I work hard and pull yourself up by your boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all stole my boots.
Yep.
And things are not going the
Yes.
way that they should go because
Absolutely.
I'm not getting that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of truth in I got to be 3 times more prepared than the next guy in order.
Yes.
And that's stressful.
It is super. Boston University did this study in 2023.
Wow.
And it said that poor health is more predicted by stressors and racism than genetics.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That not only is that interesting, I just don't think some people get it.
Yes.
I mean, homelessness is something that, think about that.
Or
Think
worrying about where you're going to
Yeah,
live.
think about the trauma that
Yeah.
comes with being homeless.
Absolutely.
Or the trauma that comes with a low-paying job.
Absolutely. Social determinants of health.
Yeah, I was
Yes, sir.
teaching this morning on the 10 devastating causes of communication in marriage.
Yes.
And one of the things I talked about was ignorance. The fact that if I don't know about communication,
Yes.
how am I going to talk about communication?
This is true.
The same thing's true with health.
Yes.
If I'm not aware of certain foods I should eat, the power of stress, the power of drinking water. Sometimes
Absolutely.
people are feeling bad and they're thirsty.
Yes.
And I have no idea.
Dehydration causes palpitations and dizziness. Absolutely.
See, I'm talking, and she giving all of the stats to go with it to make sure that I'm not a liar. You understand? So it's important that
Yes.
that the first thing we do is we accept the responsibility
Yes, sir.
to go get some knowledge,
Yes.
to understand that we don't have to die in our 40s and 50s.
Yes, absolutely.
That we can live long.
Yes, sir.
And we can prosper. Now, this is something that you are the answer for. In some countries, to neglect the elderly,
Yes, sir.
you go to jail for it. I have a friend of
Wow.
mine that lives in China.
Wow.
And I think he told me that if you lose your job
Yeah.
and they are aware that you are responsible for your mother or your father, and you don't rectify that situation, you will be picked up and put in prison.
Oh my God.
Now,
wow.
the reason why I bring it up is because I just don't feel really good about how this country is honoring and respecting.
Our seniors.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and to the point where I'm really diligently working on it to make sure that if nobody wants to take care of me,
Yes.
that I have some things in place.
Absolutely.
To do that.
Yes.
And I think it's a serious issue in the United States. I would love to see some legislation that comes out that will be in favor of our seniors.
Oh, I mean, it is so bad what we see our seniors. Just this morning, we got a call, one of our seniors, 67 years old, living in a hotel.
Wow.
And so these calls our MAs get. And so we said, well, you know what? Even though we're a healthcare company, we focus on the social determinants of health.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to eat better when you can't even eat?
Yeah.
Like we have, you can't eat better if you can't afford to eat.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have a transportation to the grocery store, how are you going to get that?
Yeah.
So we focus as a company on those social determinants of health. So because you're not going to try to eat, but you just want to eat anything if you don't have any food.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and as you get older, that's not the time to decide I'm going to take responsibility for my health and eat right. You need to start as early as possible.
Absolutely.
So it can become something that
Yes.
becomes a habit in your life.
Absolutely.
And so along with responsibility, how you eat, the importance of water,
Yes.
we started off with the importance of movement. I
Yes.
have recently become a walker.
Okay.
Yeah, and my
How are you
walking-
tracking your steps?
You know what? Most people use the little. I have a long driveway,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and when I walk from my front door to the end of that driveway,
Yes, sir.
twice,
Yes.
I'm good. I'm good.
What is it, like a mile, 2 miles?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is something that it makes me feel better. I
Yes.
burn fat first because if I'm sprinting, I have to deal with the glucose before I get to the fat.
Absolutely.
But if I'm walking, I'm burning fat first, and I feel good. I get a
Yes.
chance to get outside, to breathe, to get some sunshine.
Absolutely.
All of those things are necessary.
Yes, absolutely.
To have good health and stuff.
yeah.
And so when something does come up, I just kind of back up a little bit. You know, how and what have I been eating? Have I been resting?
Absolutely.
My sleep is something good. I take magnesium right before I go to bed.
How many milligrams?
At least throughout the day, at least 400.
400. Wow.
And that
So you take it
sometimes
multiple
may not
times a
be-
day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I take a magnesium. I think it's glycinite for sleep, and
Okay.
then citrate for the daytime.
So there's different types of magnesium
Different
that
type
he's
of magnesium.
taking.
And
Okay.
magnesium is so very important. I think it may be responsible for something like 600 to 700 functions in your body.
Oh wow, absolutely.
And most black people are deficient in magnesium.
Wow.
And that's something that we need to really
Absolutely.
to
We're going
check
to put
out.
that on the screen, you guys.
Yeah.
So can you just say that one more time?
Yeah, that most black people are deficient in magnesium. And
The
it's
type of magnesium
responsible-
that you take.
Magnesium glycinate, and then magnesium citrate.
Okay.
One of them will help you with your sleep,
Yes.
glycinite, and the other one will help you with your just normal intake for the day. So I try to keep about 4 to 450 milligrams a day
Wow.
with that, and I
Okay.
feel amazing.
Did one of your doctors tell you that, or you had to get an herbalist, or how did you come to start taking that?
Research, and then checking it out with somebody that makes it, because anything that's good,
Yes.
used the wrong way or too much can be bad.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
there's a balance in it. So I've
Yes.
got a lot of friends who, they're still practicing medicine, and I'm also on the board of a health center.
Okay.
And so I've got plenty of people I can go
Yes.
check out. Say, hey, I discovered this. Is this true? Tell me the negative side of it. Tell me the positive side of it.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so what I try to do is really want to get it from my food, but certain things,
Absolutely.
eating plant-based,
Yes.
I have to take a B12 supplement. Because,
Yes.
you get most of that from your meat.
Okay. So we're
but
going
I
to put
feel-
B12 on there as well, you guys.
But I feel amazing.
Okay.
And just a few more months, couple months, I'll be 63.
Yes.
And I've been doing ministry for 43, going on 44 years.
Wow. Wow.
I've traveled
Wow.
over 8 million miles around the globe. So
Wow.
I'm ready to put in some serious time.
Yes.
I'm not ready to curl up and say that's it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not ready to say I just want to retire, because I
Yes.
don't ever want to retire.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to live long, but I want to live strong
Absolutely.
and not just exist.
Yes. Yes.
and,
Yes.
and so I'm so glad. I'm so glad you had me here. I don't often get an opportunity to discuss and to talk about this particular issue, but it is so important.
It really is. And a lot of what you said are simple changes.
Yeah, very simple.
So let's go back over.
Okay.
And just your testimony, and I want to get back into your testimony. I want to dive back into it and put it in bite-sized pieces so that our members can digest it.
Okay.
So we talked about the state of Black health, right? And everyone should know that even during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Millions of people died during COVID, right? They shut down the whole world. But heart disease killed more people. Heart disease killed more people than COVID. We've been that was since the 1930s. Heart disease has been the leading cause of death. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And 60% of those that die from heart disease, 60% is preventable. So my brother is 34 years old. He did a praise dance around his church, and he died in front of his entire congregation and my mother and my brother. And that's why I got into the healthcare space, because he was 34 and he used to say, you gotta die something. He used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
You gotta, chicken, churches, pizzas, you gotta die something. And we're gonna talk about obesity.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about, you mentioned you move and you walk. So we're gonna talk about how something so simple. So heart disease, the leading cause of death, correlating cause of heart disease is hypertension.
Yeah. And that's coming from your bad diet. You're getting plaque that's developing in those passageways where the blood flows, and you're eating lard,
Yes.
and sugar,
Yes.
and bad breads,
Yes.
and bad meats.
Yes.
And we don't know about the omega-3 that we need to be getting. You can get that from salmon. You can supplement some of it.
Yes.
There are just a lot of ways to prevent hypertension. Now,
Yes.
some of the ways, it's not just diet, but eventually diet's going to be the one of the root causes for it.
Yes, sir.
Because now we're going to begin to look at how you sleep.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand if they're not sleeping well and sleeping like they're supposed to be sleeping.
Yes.
Or somebody working like a night shift
Yes.
because they have to.
Absolutely.
That's going to play a huge role.
Stresses
in
out your body.
hypertension. Exactly. That's exactly
Yes.
what's happening with the stress that comes on your body,
Yes.
the way you eat, the way you sleep,
Yes.
and the way you deal with everyday situations.
Absolutely.
You can prevent that.
So stress. So when you were told that you had prostate cancer, that's a stress.
Yes.
It's a shock,
Yes.
right? So how did you deal with that stress?
Well, if we'll talk about just the back-to-back, that year I had prostate cancer.
Yeah.
When I had blood clots around my lungs, and when I had shingles.
Yeah.
All stress related.
I
Now-
read that you said you felt like Job at that.
I felt like Job and everything else. I'm like, what's going on here? And I had a chance to sit and really look at this. It was all stress, all stress related. The travel, I'm in the plane all the time, going somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to get back home, so I'm
Yep.
flying at nighttime.
Oh my God.
I'm flying, 12, 13, 14 hours
Jet lag.
somewhere.
Yep.
I'm not sleeping well.
Yes.
I'm getting up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And as a result of just those two things,
Yeah.
and then with what I do as a pastor, especially during COVID,
Okay.
people were dying in funerals, and it was like I was in a funeral every other week.
Wow.
And I'm a human, so
Yes.
it hurts, it's painful,
Yes.
stress.
Absolutely.
And just not even including all of the things I do with the counseling and the talking.
Yes. Taking on other people's stress. Yeah.
So I had to make a decision. I had to draw boundaries.
Okay.
And I had to not only respect the boundaries,
Yes.
but I had to request that other people respect those boundaries. I had to
Tell people how to treat you.
Right. I had to take off the red cape, and I had to pack it up.
Yes.
And I had to realize that, I can't but put this cape on. I had a moment in my life, and you won't hear a lot of pastors even talk about this because vulnerability in the life of most ministers is something that's risky.
Yeah.
I see vulnerability as something that can have impact in other people's lives.
Your testimony.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so I felt like what I would do is things would happen, and then I would stick it in the closet. Some other stuff happened, stick it in the closet because I got to be strong. I've got to go through it. I got to appear like I'm invincible. And one day I stuck the stressor thing in the closet, and I saw in my mind the door wouldn't latch because I had put so much stuff in there.
Absolutely.
Stuff that was 20-something years old. From the death of relatives to friends. Don't deal with it. Got to be strong. Got to do that. And I tell you, it'll catch up with you.
Yes.
And when the door wouldn't shut, and this is what happened, trying to figure out why am I crying? Trying to figure out why am I depressed? Trying to figure out why do I feel this way, low energy.
Yes.
And I had to make a decision. I've got to go and get healed. I said, because as long as you continue to try to play in the game injured,
Yes.
it's not going to work. You need to get healed.
Yes.
And a lot of times, black men, because I've worked with them really with such intensity the last 3 years, where we
Yes.
actually have psychotherapy groups in the men's fellowship,
Wow.
where they sit in there they're becoming vulnerable with one another and releasing the pressure. And you see the same thing there in that circle. You see grown men crying.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And you talk about hypertension.
Yes.
It's the stuff in the closet, the stuff we didn't deal with. And I had to go and get the stuff out of the closet.
Yes.
I had some friends of mine in Thailand who were therapists and preachers, and
yes.
I met them over there, and we went to work. And
wow.
I had a day. Here's another stressor. I had a day which they termed "you need to grieve." He says, in fact, you are grieving.
A day to grieve.
A day to grieve, because transition will cause grief. And I thought it was just the transition of a loved one, that they would transition in death.
Yeah.
But there are transitions that we go through in our lives. I mean, transitioning from one successful thing to something that may not be like what you used to, so you're missing it, you're grieving.
Yes.
And so I got me a therapist so we could talk. I wanted to go all the way back and walk all the way up, see if I can discover something to put all this together. Was there
stigma in your family about that?
Black
like it is with most black
people
people?
don't like therapists.
Absolutely.
They don't like therapists. I used to be one, but black people don't like therapists or therapy because they think it doesn't work or whatever. But I'm telling black people, go to therapy when you need to. And,
what type of therapist? Because they got clinical psychologists, psychiatrists. What type of therapy would you recommend?
It really depends, because you have to have a connection with whoever it is. Yeah,
because they like to put them on medication. They like to give us medication for them. What do you think?
I don't. For some very personal reasons, I had a session with a person who was bipolar, and once I looked at his prescription, the dosage was too high, and so I recommended that they just lower the dosage. It's the wrong dosage, and he hadn't had that problem since. And so some people need it. It helps. I'm not really against that, but I would recommend people would at least go see a professional counselor first, so they can get it out, and then let the counselor refer them on up, because you have to feel comfortable with that person, that you're sitting down and you're becoming vulnerable with this person.
They got to be good, because yours said a day of grieving. I saw a counselor. They never told me that.
Oh, yeah. Well, my day of grieving was amazing. I read this book, and in this book, the author said that grief is nothing but love that doesn't have anywhere to go.
Interesting.
And
grief is something.
It's nothing but love that doesn't have anywhere to go.
Wow.
And so if you think about, losing a loved one, that you're used to loving, and they're gone.
Yep.
So that love for them is like
has nowhere to go.
It has nowhere to go. And so I stopped the counselor. It was a friend of mine. I stopped and said, "Hold on." I said, "We got to find a path for this grief or this love to travel." And the answer was gratitude. And so if I can now be grateful for what I've gone through.
Yes.
And grateful for what God allowed me to experience in my life.
Yes.
Then that gratitude gives love a place to travel, to do some stuff. And so I'm transitioning. I've been in the ministry for all these years, and what I saw maybe 30 years ago has now changed.
Yes.
Society has changed.
Yes.
I've got a different generation that's changed. And so either I make the necessary adjustments to the changes,
absolutely,
or I'll continue to grieve. And so I spent the day, I went back 30 years.
Wow.
I didn't properly grieve my father. I didn't properly grieve some really good friends of mine that left. I didn't properly grieve a transition from a job that I loved. I was a teacher in the school system. I didn't grieve that to go in here and just all kinds of things. And I found myself, I said, I'm a man. I ain't gonna cry. I cried all day. I was like, oh my goodness, it just all came out, and I felt so free. And I realized the power of being vulnerable, that first of all, you've got to be vulnerable with yourself.
Yes.
Because there's something about vulnerability and the discomfort that you're in that it's like looking in the mirror. And vulnerability is not going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to tell you, the truth about your situation. So vulnerable with yourself. Then I can be vulnerable with God. And then I can be vulnerable with somebody else. However, I don't want to be careless to choose the wrong person to be vulnerable with.
That is so true, because they'll have all your information on Instagram.
Oh, well, you have it all, and it's risky.
It really is.
It is a risky thing.
Very risky.
But it has proven to be such an amazing avenue and path away from stress for me. Because now when I begin to deal with all those areas, I had to deal with something called approval addiction. That I didn't know it. I had an addiction. It was an approval addiction. It was needing the validations of others.
Oh,
Can you
God.
imagine how stressful? I mean, we're talking about stress. And
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm looking at these everyday situations that people don't examine and they don't look at.
Yes.
But I had an approval addiction. I needed the approval of the congregation. I needed the approval of the convention I was preaching in, the approval of the preachers, the approval of my family, the approval.
Oh my God, an approval addiction.
And so if you continue to do that, it's very difficult for you in what I do to serve God, because I'm so hungry for the approval of other people. But when you get delivered from that, there's another freedom. And so imagine these weights just leaving your life, and now all of a sudden you're sleeping better.
Yes.
Your energy is better.
Yes.
You're willing to go get involved in some movement.
Absolutely.
Because you're not being weighed down by things you're ignorant of and not know how to deal with those things. Those are real everyday things in your life.
Oh, wow.
And it's made a difference in my health. And if you'd have talked to me about this 30 years ago, just give me a bunch of pills and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But I believe an overuse of supplements may have had something to do with my prostate cancer.
Wow.
Because things that are good for you, if you use them in the wrong way,
absolutely,
they can be bad for you too.
Look, we have members that takes handfuls of zinc and vitamin C.
That's good.
What is that? What you were doing when you said you had a?
No, I made my bathroom look like a pharmacy. I mean, I had a pill for everything. You know, nose messed up, whatever. You know, I had a pill for stuff. I studied it out and everything. But God really just kind of, dealt with me on, wow, you got a trust issue, and you need to look at that. And it's all of that weight lifted up off me, and now sometimes I feel like I'm aging backwards.
How long did it take that to happen?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. It wasn't overnight. I had to spend about a year with myself. I call it my get real year. And my reflection year, where I had to look in the mirror and I had to want to be free and healthy, because I wanted to be free and healthy.
Yes.
And running around the world preaching the gospel and eating fried chicken after every sermon.
Yep.
No, I don't even eat. I tell people don't prepare anything for me.
Wow.
I'll just drink water.
We were trying to get you some. We were trying to have food for you
I'm
here.
like, no, just give me water.
My staff, and I told them that. They said, he just wants water. What kind of water? We bought a bunch of water. How much water?
Do that, but I'm so free, and that has as much as, because if you're stressed out and you're taking every healthy thing you can,
yes,
it's not going to help, because those cells are closed because of the stress, so it can't get in. All the nutrition and everything you want, it can't get into cells.
Wow.
Because and so I
even
realized,
if you're working out, you're stressed.
Even if you're working out and doing all that stuff, and I did all that. I worked out. I took all of the pills, all of the supplements, and how do you get the things I had? I mean, I should
back to back.
Yeah. Well, no, they were back to back to back within 1 year. I mean, I would go from one attack in my body. Soon as that ended up, another one would come. Soon as that ended up, another would come. And I'm thinking, God, if you want me in heaven, just tell me. I mean, is my time up? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I had to realize that the nutrition that I was feeding my body and the things that I was doing,
Yes.
It doesn't work well when you're stressed out.
Did you first tackle the stress or the diet?
The stress.
The stress first.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, let me take it back. It was the stress. It was the stress stuff. It was the stress stuff. My wife and I knew, she said, I can see you walk in the room. And she can do it to this day. I can see you walking in the room and see on your face the stress on your face.
Yes.
And now for me, it's very serious, because I'm not trying to have no third round of cancer because I'm gonna wear somebody's stress. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So water is important, diet's important, supplement is important, all that stuff is important. But if I had to put something number one, it would be living a stress-free life.
Wow. And that's easier said than done for some of us.
That is easier said than done because, you
Yeah.
know, you're going to be challenged every day.
Absolutely.
You know, I had a doctor friend of mine who got me something called a biomat.
A biomat?
A biomat. And
Okay.
it has negative ions that enter into your body. And so, I mean, I have a treatment room. I've got an oxygen tank. I've got a biomat. I got all of this stuff in there. And yet, when I didn't deal with the stress, they would help.
Yes.
But like you said, easier said than done. I had to come up with a strategy of how to deal with the stress when it would knock on the door. Am I going to open the door? And so a lot of things I had to build boundaries and say, no, we're not going to pass this boundary. This is something that I don't think I want to be involved in.
Wow.
I don't want to sign up for this. I don't want to do this. And as I began to build those boundaries, it was not the fact that stress is not going to come.
Yes.
But when it comes, what is it going to bump into? What is it going to encounter?
Yes.
You know, I want it to encounter my boundary. That I'm not going to do this. You know, I'm not going to. Somebody says, well, I think I said it. If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive.
I love that. If it costs you your peace,
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
And I am not going.
love that.
I'm not going to be
Yes.
paying my peace for somebody else's drama.
If it costs you your peace,
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Yeah.
So, we talked about stress. You got the day of grieving.
The day of grieving.
So when you do the day of grieving, are you writing everything down? Because you said you went 30 years back. Because we want our members to actually do this.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about how you have your prevention as a ministry too.
Yeah.
Because you have those where you bring the men in. So I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
But the day of grieving, how do you go back 30 years?
Oh, you're right. I got into they put me in a room in this gigantic window where I could see the river going through the city. And it was just me and God. And I'm like, okay. And I started writing. And it was so amazing. I remembered something I forgot.
What's that?
That when I was 8 years old, my father's a policeman. He
Yes.
picked me up.
Yes.
He saw somebody breaking in one of the neighbor's house. At 8, he put me on the curb and said, stay close to the curb. While I heard gunshots going, and gunshots are loud when you're there.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a traumatic experience that I completely forgot about.
Wow.
And grew up thinking I've got to protect myself. So when people came at me verbally the wrong way, my response would be, I've got to protect myself. It was something important for me to write it down, to look at what's going on, to address what I was writing, both as I'm thinking and as I'm being ministered to or counseled.
Yes.
And so the journal helped because it gave me an opportunity to review it, to see now what is it that I discovered today? What is it that I learned today? It got me to a place where I can really be honest with my emotions.
Yes.
And, God gave us emotions. We have emotions, but
Yes.
emotions shouldn't have us.
Absolutely.
To do that. So that was something very powerful for me. So when I left to come home, I was doing a lot of stuff. It was at that time I made 3 movies at that time before I left. I was still preaching. I was still traveling, still working on books. It was crazy. It was why am I doing all this? That sounds.
It was a lot. It sounds a lot.
It was a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I had to just say it's don't do it. You don't have to do all that.
So what'd you do? You just stopped it all at once?
I took a deep breath, and I took a really good look at me. Am I doing what I want to do, or am I doing what I believe God put me here to do? Because if I keep doing this at this rate, I'm gonna kill myself. This is just insane.
Absolutely.
And so I made some decisions like building those boundaries.
Yes.
I also decided to, all right, what am I doing? I'm doing too much. Just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you need to be doing it.
Absolutely.
And I felt like, well, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. But I'm like, God, help me to focus on what I need to be doing.
Yes.
And not try to be a master of many things.
Yes.
So I just enjoy being in peace.
Yes.
You know, I enjoy
It took you a minute to get there, right? It took you that year first on the reflection.
It took me a whole year of reflection, of evaluation, writing things down, going to see therapists.
Did you do any group therapy?
I did not. I
Okay.
didn't do group therapy. I mean, the bigger the group was just me, the therapist, and sometimes Taffy, my wife, would come in and would work with me. She was so diligent at saying, "I am here.
Wow.
I am available. Let's do what need to be done." And I came through it, and I share that testimony as a pastor.
Wow.
Because I want people to know that pastors are humans.
Absolutely.
And if they don't deal with their emotions, and if they don't deal with the honesty of who they are, that's going to deal with them.
Yes.
And so that love that has nowhere to go, if you don't take it out with gratitude, it's the swelling up of tears in your eye. It's trying to find somewhere to go.
Wow.
It's that lump in your throat trying to find somewhere to go. It will turn on your physical body trying to find somewhere to go.
We have a lot of people that lose loved ones, especially as you get older. They lose their sisters and they find themselves as the only family member left. As we get older, in the 40s, like, you start to lose your brothers, your aunts, and it's painful. So when you say you lose that family member and there's love that's looking for a place to go, and you turn it to gratitude. But how do you turn that love to gratitude? Because that's significant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at a family member and you can spend time grieving over that for far too long. There's nothing wrong with grieving. The problem is grieving longer than what you should be grieving.
Yes.
And the way you do this, you start thinking about all of the good times, the things you enjoyed, the things you learned. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to encounter such a person like this. And you can use your mouth to do that. I mean, if you're being attacked with it, open your mouth. Father, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And when you look back at it, you'll see how blessed you are because of this encounter. That's helped me a whole lot. It's helped me a whole lot. There are people, I miss them so much. Just, boy, if they were here, I know they would say this. And we start laughing. Oh, if you believe. And it helps out a lot. It's painful. I tell people, I give you permission to grieve. Because some people believe you're not supposed to. And some people don't have any problem with it. Well, I don't have any problem with it. Because love will eventually go down the path of gratitude, and being grateful for that experience gives it a place to not only go, but to rest.
Do you think that it would be something if you write it down, like thank you, Lord, for the time that I had with my brother?
Putting things in writing, it's not only helpful, but it kind of memorializes a thought or a feeling, something that you can go and refer to.
Yes.
If those negative emotions come back, you can go and look at that and read it all over again.
Yes.
And it also serves as an opportunity. When I was working at the hospital, we used to have the patients write feeling papers. And that's a way of getting things out of you and putting it out so you can see it very clearly and deal with it appropriately. So I agree with that a whole lot. It's amazing. I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and I can feel the emotion of all those loved ones.
Yes.
And I've just got to be honest with you. Somebody says, well, you'd say that as a pastor. I mean, I just totally depend on God for everything.
Absolutely.
I absolutely totally depend on him for everything. And that gives me peace.
Yes.
And every person's got to locate how they're going to get peace. Now, if I was a betting person, I'd be willing to bet you're not going to really find peace until you find it in God. But they're like, no, I can't. But I've seen a whole bunch of people that have done that. So, yeah.
So we've had some discussion about prevention, about what we can do, from a holistic standpoint. I want to take the final moments to really hone in what our members can do specifically to help them overcome the stressors like we talked about, help them to what they should eat day to day, right? And how they should carry themselves to have better quality of life and better quantity of life? Okay.
Well, I can just tell you some of the things that I do.
Okay.
I make sure that I get an adequate amount of water every day.
Okay.
I want to make sure I get green vegetables.
Well, is that the 8 ounces of water that everybody says? Because you've done a lot of research on this.
No, I think you should. You when you're thirsty, drink. You know,
Yeah.
you have to be careful about consuming too much water. People don't talk about that a lot, but your body will tell you when you need to drink, and just go ahead and obey it. Don't get in a rush and not do
Absolutely.
that. So I'm not the.
You don't carry the.
I don't carry the big old jug.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Y'all see that all over the place.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't do that. Get my vegetables, my green vegetables.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I get omega-3 oils.
Yes.
Going on the inside of me. I actually take olive oil straight, just a tablespoon.
Really?
Yeah. People will be shocked, but a tablespoon of olive oil before you go to bed. Oh, you sleep great, boy. Helps you restore things, good for your joints and everything like that.
A tablespoon of olive oil.
Of let me make it clear, a tablespoon of extra virgin.
I was just going to ask that because there's so many. Extra virgin olive oil. I'm like, what is all this?
And all of them are not created equal.
Absolutely.
The
So
dark
extra
bottle,
virgin.
yeah, and all this stuff. And then
You said you want the dark bottle?
oh, you have to have the dark bottle.
Okay.
And there's some that you don't need to. You know, you go to the store and you see it on the table and stuff. That's junk olive oil.
Okay.
It comes in a dark bottle. Comes light. Can
Dark
destroy
green,
it.
or because we've seen a bunch of different kinds of.
Mine is really, really dark green.
Okay.
And but it really helps me out a lot.
Okay, a tablespoon of that. We're gonna make sure we put this on the screen.
Thirdly, I eat plant-based.
Okay.
And that means my flour and my rice and everything that I eat, grains and stuff. They're organic. And, and so I try to make sure that I stick with plant-based items.
So you said earlier that you eat everything that we eat. Because most people think, and I the same way, that when you eat plant-based, you get those, the meat that you get from the grocery store, you know, those, they got so many different names, but you said, you know, those, you can get them in the freezer section, or you can get them, and it's in the little healthy areas, right? You spend $9 for a little thing of fake meat, fake beef. What do you think about those?
I don't like fake meat, genetically injured meat. I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
If I want a hamburger, I'll eat a hamburger.
Okay.
My bread is healthy.
Yep. What kind of bread are you doing?
I make my bread.
You make your bread?
I make the bread. I don't buy the stuff. I don't know what's in it anymore.
Yes.
I'll take some chickpeas. We'll come up with some type of patty. I'll put some tomatoes on it.
Yes.
Some organic ketchup.
Yes.
And sauce, and I got my hamburger. I can eat a hamburger.
Wow.
I can eat French fries.
You can eat French fries?
Yeah.
How do you gonna eat French fries?
I got sweet potato French fries.
Wow.
What are those roots?
What are you doing, baking them?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I bake them.
What about the air fryer?
I do air fry.
Okay.
I take mushrooms,
Okay.
make a batter to go on those mushrooms.
Okay.
Oyster mushrooms. Put it in the air fryer.
Yes.
You think you're eating shrimp or something.
Really?
Yeah, good stuff.
We're gonna have to try that. I need the recipes. So we're gonna post a couple recipes and we're gonna post a couple pictures.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I need proof.
I'm having a ball. I'm enjoying eating.
Yes.
And at the same time, I know what I'm eating is good. I get about, let's see, my goal is 1,500 calories a day.
Wow.
Is what I do. 1,500 calories a day.
And you can eat hamburgers and spaghetti.
But it's all plant-based.
All plant-based, yes.
You know, I can construct a hamburger from plant-based items.
Okay.
I can construct spaghetti from plant-based items. I can use mushroom meat, walnut meat. I can use a healthy grain for the pasta. I can. You name something you want. I can have pancakes in the morning. And but my
what kind
pancakes,
of flour?
Almond flour.
Almond flour.
All kinds of healthy plant-based flours you can use.
What kind of syrup you putting on your pancakes?
Don't do syrup,
Okay.
but it's not a problem to do some organic maple real pure maple syrup.
Yes, yes.
You just don't drown it with syrup.
Absolutely.
What I do is I take berries, puree it, and use that in place of the
Wow,
syrup.
wow.
And it turns out well.
Wow.
So I'm basically eating everything I used to eat. I just change how it's made and just make sure it comes from a plant-based source. But I also want to make sure I eat plants.
Yes.
And
Yes.
things come from it. We were talking during the break about the power of a lemon.
Absolutely. Yes. I learned something.
And we pulled it up so you can see all the things that it does. But,
Yes.
I don't throw away the lemon peel.
Yes.
I take the lemon peel and I'll stick the whole thing. It's an organic lemon. That's the only thing I want organic because I don't want all that other stuff on it. I wash my lemon real good, and then I take some frozen organic blueberries.
Yes.
Which is really good for gut health.
Yes.
Your microbiome. I mean, blueberries will really help that.
Interesting.
And I put it in my bullet. And
You put water in it?
Yeah, put water in
And
it.
your water comes in a glass container, right? You don't like plastic?
I don't like plastic because I don't know. I mean, how long has this been in the sun? And
That's true.
Where is it gone? And now you put it in the freezer, make it seem like it's awesome.
Yep.
And no,
Absolutely.
I drink all my water out of bottles. Or you can take a filter and put it in your house.
Okay.
And do it that way. And I blend that up and drink it every morning on an empty
Is
stomach.
that the first thing you do?
First thing I do in the morning is put that lemon in with those blueberries, take a straw, and I drink it every morning.
Wow.
And it's doing some amazing things with cholesterol, your immunity.
Yes.
And a lot
You
of
got that
things
vitamin C. What he showed on break, I didn't know the lemon pill. I've been throwing lemon pills away all this
Don't
time.
throw those lemon pills away.
Wow.
Good stuff. And so, just with that, if I'm plant-based and I'm not eating meat anymore, you have to get the B12. So you have to supplement the B12.
Okay.
And I normally get the B12 that dissolves under my tongue.
Okay.
So I can...
You get the sublingual right under your tongue, or the ones over you?
Under my tongue.
Under your tongue.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put those...
Yeah, the B12 is important for people who don't eat meat.
Okay.
You have to supplement.
Okay.
And so I think we talked about moringa powder.
Yes.
And
yes.
how that's just been my go-to. And for people who are dealing with prostate issues.
Yes.
Which I dealt with a couple of times. When you go and do your blood test, it helps to lower your PSA level as well. And it's just, it's something there for your eyes, something there for your hair, something there for you. It is just, I'm loving it. I think.
What do you put it in? Like a water or?
Water. Everything.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You don't drink anything other than water. No orange juice. No, you're right.
Water based because I don't want orange juice with all the sugar.
All the sugar,
It's not healthy anymore.
So we got to put that on there. Got to drink water. So if you want to try it and see how you feel, in 7 days, let's do a 7-day. So in 7 days, this is what you're going to take. Only water.
Only water.
Get up in the morning.
No sugar.
No sugar. No sugar at all.
No sugar at all.
We're gonna follow your diet for a minute.
No sugar at all. No bad flour. You want to substitute that flour with a plant-based flour.
Yes.
You want to get some pumpkin seeds. Eat some pumpkin seeds. Be careful of eating too many almonds, too many cashews. You get fat from that.
Wow.
Incorporate avocado.
You said that's amazing.
A half an avocado a day.
Okay.
Oh my!
And what do you
goodness.
put that in? Do you eat it just straight, or do you put it in something?
When I started, because I wanted to make sure I got the full nutritional effect.
Yep.
I would take a half avocado, put it in a little bowl, and I just eat the whole thing. But now I put it in a smoothie. Like if I go and make a smoothie, and it really thickens it up and makes it really nice. I've made puddings with that because of the avocado.
Absolutely.
But the avocado. If you just take an avocado, half of it, about an hour before bed, it's going to really help you to relax and sleep and restore and do a lot of what. It's known as the male fruit.
The male fruit, M-A-L-E?
Yeah, the male fruit.
Why is that?
For a lot of sexual enhancement. So some of you guys might want to start taking some avocado.
Instead of all those pills that they have, because y'all know they got a billion pills that you see on television.
Yeah, take you some avocado.
All you got to do is get an avocado. Come on.
And a lot of people know it's a fruit,
Yeah.
And so, if you'll do that, do the water, implement certain things in your diet, make sure it's plant-based diet, stay away from the sugar, stay away from the fast food, Stay away from vegetable oil, which is the worst oil you can possibly put in your body. Go from vegetable oil to extra virgin olive oil, and when you're cooking,
And the dark green bottle.
Yeah, if you're cooking it, you want to use avocado oil for cooking because it can take the heat a lot better.
Yeah.
And
doesn't olive oil become toxic when it's heated up?
Olive oil does when it's heated up above the a place where it's no longer healthy for you.
Yes, of course.
Extra virgin olive oil, you can get a little bit more out of it. You can use it for cooking, but I want to stay safe, so I just use avocado oil.
So in the mornings, you have the lemon and the blueberry.
First thing.
Then the moringa and the water. When do you take the magnesium?
The magnesium, I take 2 at night, the type of magnesium that helps you to sleep.
Okay.
And then I take 2 after I finish working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you work out in the morning?
Work out in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like super early? Because sometimes people
I
do
work
5
out
a.m.
at 7:30.
7:30. Okay, that's a good time.
Yeah, I work out in a fasted state.
Okay.
Because it,
You fast. You work out before you eat anything.
Yeah.
Do you do the lemon and the blueberry first?
I'll do that.
Okay.
But I won't eat any solid food or anything until
Understood.
after the workout.
Okay.
And the walk. And so, I think if you'll just, stay away from the fast food joints.
Yep.
Stay away from the vegetable oil.
Yes.
Stay away from the bread. You get the little kangaroo pouch down there.
They do.
Eat this way and go walk for at least 10 minutes. 20 minutes would be better, but at least 10 minutes.
Yes.
You're going to like what you see and you're going to like what you feel.
Now, you said earlier that you can see your difference in just the numbers.
Oh, yeah. Cholesterol numbers are phenomenal. You go and take a blood test.
Yes.
And you'll see some changes when you eat a organic, plant-based diet. And this is good for kidneys too. People who are struggling with their kidneys.
We see a lot of young people with kidney disease. It's on the rise, actually.
Yeah, a plant-based eating will really help with your kidneys and so forth.
You mentioned having high hypertension at one point.
Yeah, that was also dealt with the way I was eating. I found that I wasn't getting enough potassium, and then along with the stress and the way I was eating. Yes. But this changed all that. And, and remember, the thing that got me when I started eating all of the correct things to address hypertension, it was then the lack of sleep that kicked in. So you got to get all these things working together.
Absolutely.
The doctors are more concerned about are you sleeping?
Yep.
Are you doing this?
Absolutely.
More than the numbers. Sometimes we go nuts over the numbers.
Absolutely.
But I had to get that sleep. So we were talking during the break how I use ashwagandha.
Yes.
As a supplement during the daytime, and then chamomile at nighttime with that magnesium.
Yes.
And I just take one of those magnesium things, one chamomile, sit up for about 4 to 5 minutes, and it's hello fuzzy, I'm gone.
Did you eat the avocado at night too?
Not every night.
Not every night.
Just
okay,
to change it up. I like to get different things that I can do.
Understood. The
chamomile
chamomile and the magnesium are every night.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. The avocado is another way to do it.
Got it. Okay.
So
not all together though.
Not all together.
Got it.
To do that.
Okay.
So.
What about the olive oil?
The olive oil, I wish the olive oil I get it from Morocco. And the reason why
do you go to Morocco or are you shipping it over here?
I got a friend shipping from Morocco.
Okay.
Because of the way it's raised and the heat, and so it has a lot of polyphenols in it.
Yes.
And helps you to really, manage your weight real well.
Understood. Yes.
So I take the olive oil, 1 tablespoon of olive oil before I go to bed. That helps me sleep too.
Wow.
So I've got like 3 or 4 options that I can do and switch up. So
that
I'm not
makes
doing
a lot
the
of
same
sense.
thing.
Yes. Okay.
And it's the same thing with eating. You don't want to eat the same foods every day. You want to change it up.
It sounds like you have options with the fresh raised salmon.
Everything, yeah. I take I only eat wild caught salmon.
Okay.
Only wild caught.
Only wild caught.
And and that's every now and then.
Every now and again. Okay.
To make me feel like I'm human.
But it's mostly the mushrooms. You mentioned lion's mane.
Lion's mane, mushrooms, oyster mushrooms. Those are the ones I use the most. I use the oyster mushrooms to give me a feeling of going in the air fryer. Sometimes it can taste like chicken if you do the right kind of batter.
Wow.
Right kind of batter.
Everything tastes like chicken, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything good tastes like chicken. What does it taste like, chicken? But the mushrooms are phenomenal if you'll read the power of mushrooms.
Absolutely.
But, it's where you get it from.
Yes.
What's the source of your food?
Absolutely.
You can get junk food and
Absolutely.
you're not getting the benefit of it.
Yes.
You can get junk supplements and it doesn't have anything in it.
Or it contraindicates the medications that you're on. Yeah. Vitamins absolutely can do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to make sure that you are responsible, if you're on medication, that you're responsible for reading up
absolutely
supplements and how they can be harmful when you're taking certain medications.
Absolutely.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
But other than that, this kind of stuff makes me feel good, feel well.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying eating.
Yes.
It's not the miserable thing I thought it was. I thought I'm just supposed to eat salad every day. And I'm like, I can't eat like green salad. I don't want no salad,
Yes.
But you can take the kale, you can mix it into a lot of things you can do with a smoothie.
Absolutely.
But keep it water-based.
Water-based,
Yeah,
not juice. People put orange juice in it. They put yogurt in it, but
Yeah, and get away from dairy.
Yes.
Get away from dairy. Go to what? Almond milk.
Almond milk, or do you oat milk?
Oat milk is good.
You do oat milk, okay.
I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
I like almond milk, cashew milk.
Okay. Now I've seen it vanilla almond milk. Do you do any of that, or you just do straight almond milk?
It's just the water-based, nasty-looking stuff that don't taste like nothing. Because what I do with it will take care of the taste.
That's true.
And I'm not trying to create something that's going to be sweeter.
Absolutely.
Or, I want to keep it healthy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, food is medicine.
It is. I believe that.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, it really does make sense. So if we're taking our numbers and we take the test before, and then we start this, and then take it within 2 weeks.
You should see some changes.
Yes.
And the thing that's amazing to me is that you will see those changes. Now, you want to see more changes.
Yep.
Keep going, and
absolutely.
you'll see better changes.
Absolutely.
But I would recommend that to just anybody, especially you deal with high blood pressure, hypertension, kidney situations.
Yes.
This plant-based eating, organic plant-based eating, it will help in many, many ways.
You have been teaching and ministering in our community to tens of thousands for 43 years. So with that being said, what have you seen that is what can we do as a healthcare company? What can I do as a CEO of a healthcare company that would be most impactful to make the biggest change for the community?
The transparency that I see in you, I've really enjoyed it. The passion that you have. To be able to go to a person and say, you know what, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. You shared your story with your family and your brother. To me, that really motivates me to want to hear you. There's nothing like a great story. And when that story is articulated in a certain way, it has impact in the way people hear and listen to you. And so I would have to say one of the best ways to really connect with our community is for us to be willing to be vulnerable. And how willing are we to be vulnerable with our community to say, I know this because I did this.
Yes.
Okay, and you're just or I'm a reflection of your bad habits. I had all of these.
Yes.
But I decided to make a change, and I made a decision. I accept the responsibility for my health and for my life.
Yes.
And I think people will say, okay, show me what you got.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You are so
This has
welcome.
been amazing.
Yes, I've enjoyed it so much.
I do believe that it is going to resonate with our members. It's going to resonate with our listeners. It resonated with me. I told Brian I'm going to change his diet immediately. So thank you again.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
What we're going to do at our boot camps, because we do boot camps every Wednesday, we will have some food. We're going to try the walnut meat, and we're going to try the, what was it you said, the mushroom meat, right?
Mushroom meat.
Yeah. So we're going to have a chef because we have our nutritionist, and we're going to have them try. We're going to get some of the recipes from you because I know you post them on your Instagram page. So we're going to get some of the recipes, and we're going to try them, and we're going to have them at our boot camp so that our members know that, you know, it's not, it's real.
It's real.
And it's not rabbit food. So thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Yes. And we'll see you guys next time.